Food labeling confuses most of us because there's so much information on a product. We don't actually know where to start when comparing products. So this is part one of the food labeling little module that I want to teach you. You can go to the iLiveLite website and get a copy of this how to read a food label document to guide you. But I'm going to talk you through a couple of these points in part one of the label reading session. The most important thing to understand firstly is you will see the 100-gram value part on the label and the serving size. When you compare product A with B, you can never compare the servings. You have to compare the 100-gram values. Otherwise, you're going to be comparing different volumes and that's not going to work out to be very accurate. So always compare the 100-gram values when comparing product A and product B. The next thing you can look at is your fat content. We don't want high intakes of trans fats or saturated fats. We want more intakes of the good monounsaturated fats, the unsaturated fats like polyunsaturated fats and monounsaturated fats. So when you look at a label, the trans fats will actually probably very low because legally in South Africa, we do have legislation now that regulates the amount of trans fats in foods. For a product to be considered low in saturated fat, it will have less than 1.5 grams of saturated fats per 100 gram. So that's how you'd read the label in terms of the fats. For fiber, you want the fiber to be high. The higher the fiber, the better the nutrient quality of that product would be in terms of the carbs and the fiber type. So things like your bulgur wheats or barleys, when you look at their labels, you compare the 100-gram value of fiber. If the fiber is higher than 6, that's a high in fiber food. So that's a good way to check if it's a good quality carb by looking at the fiber content. Something else you can have a look at is the sodium. For a product to be low in sodium, it needs to have less than 120 milligrams of sodium per 100 grams. So if you battle with hypertension or high blood pressure, then checking things like sodium is really of importance for you. Something else you can have a look at is the cholesterol value on a label. You'll see the cholesterol per 100 grams, and for something to be considered low in cholesterol, it needs to have less than 20 milligrams of cholesterol in a per 100 gram value. So start having a look at these labels and looking at the fiber, the fats, the cholesterol values, the sodium values, and comparing these. Once you start comparing products, you can make a better choice and choose something with maybe lower kilojoules or something with a higher fiber content or a lower sodium content. And just simply looking at labels, you can improve the quality of the nutrients in your diet by changing for better choice products.